Board review Tuesday, May 21st, 6:55, called to order. Have approval of, motion to approve the minutes of June 27, 2012.
So moved.
A second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Update on the progress of full value maintenance.
Accurate appraisal began the full value maintenance in March by scheduling property walkthroughs. The statement of assessment was mailed to property owners in the week of May 13th. Open book is now scheduled for Wednesday, May 29th, and again on Thursday, May 30th. Staff is recommending that the Board of Review be set for May 18th of 2013 at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay, do we need a motion on that?
Michelle scripted that for me. Yes, please.
Can I have a motion to
Set the Board of Review to
review date for June 18th, 2013?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment of the Board review till June 18, 2013.
Move to adjourn until 2013?
Second.
June. Excuse me. Move to adjourn.
Till.
Whenever she said,
June 18, 2000.
next month.
Second.
That's not right.
That was I missed. When would you like us to return it to?
June 18th,
June
2013, please.
2013.
I move to adjourn to June 18th.
Second. Okay, I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Wonderful. That's right. We need the educator to retain classroom decorum and order, right?
Don doesn't even know what he voted on.
That's right. Where's the gavel, huh? We get it going and get her all squared away.
Alderperson Berwick. Eyes up here.
Please, pay attention.
Make him stay late.
Well, once again, Anissa, you are dominating the alderperson motions to adjourn.
That's because I usually am the one that keeps us here the longest.
Yes, I like that. I'm gonna see if we can do like, in Major League Baseball, they have batting averages.
Yes.
I'll see if I can have, the aldermanic.
And I want an award. Thank you very much.
I will see if we can put something together for the Christmas party.
After she asked 25 questions, Alderperson Welch finally made the motion to adjourn.
Most likely alderperson to move to adjourn goes to
You're taking minutes?
That means I'm taking minutes, my friend. Away we go.
That is a tough straw to pull.
We were just talking about that.
It's because I'm the only one that's still awake at the end of the meeting.
That's right.
Well, good point.
They're all like, they've already bored them all to death.
8 o'clock. So on my other identity, that's the address. I can't remember which side it is.
Okay,
But it's the other identity.
Sure.
okay, thank you.
I am Michelle,
All right.
and
Welcome.
All right.
try to get it right.
I can open the can.
Make sure that I'm
You.
right here too.
That wasn't me.
Hey, do we still have that rule?
What?
Turn this off.
That's what I'm doing. Yep. I'm just making sure that.
I didn't know if the new administration changed.
That's right. No,
If we accomplish nothing,
everybody can
it will be a very strict cell phone policy.
send email and text and
Let us,
do what they want to do. Somebody's trying to get a hold of me.
I know you'll know something bad has happened if
It's a restricted call
a
too.
certain set of.
That's a police call.
Yeah,
Holy
probably.
smoke. I made it.
You made it.
I made it.
Yes. You should be out there. No? You're not?
No.
My bad.
You're not, here's, no, not in the stack.
This is what happens when you have amateurs like me putting it all together. Here we go. Now you're on the grid.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I do.
We'll work on with this for a minute.
All right,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, I'll go ahead and call to order the Common Council meeting on Tuesday, May 21st, 2013 at 7:02 PM. And I'll ask for confirmation of appropriate meeting notice.
Meeting notices were posted at City Hall, Piggly Wiggly, and Dave's Ace Hardware.
Thank you, Jerry. Item number 2, I'll welcome the citizens and now take an opportunity to address any issues or questions that are not on the agenda. Does anyone have anything? Okay, seeing none, we'll move right on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you, Howie.
Okay. All right, with that in mind, then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Quickly before we move on, I'll give Alderman Verwink a chance to introduce a new guest with us.
Right, well, I want to introduce Sarah Farnsworth. Sarah is the one I was talking to about last council meeting, and she's interested in city government, and she's going to be going to Badger State and going for position of treasurer. Yes. And so that's why I thought it'd be good that she sit with Connie, and she's going to be, I don't know, interviewing with Connie or shadowing Connie at some point. So I want to welcome her here.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to item number 4. Discussion and possible action on continuing the city's current post-employment health benefits at 50% of employee premium for surviving dependents for retirees with 30-plus years of service.
Thank you, Mayor. This item was discussed at the city's Personnel and Finance Committee meeting tonight. A unique and sad situation had Mayor Frazier actually contact me about it when a retiree who had more than 30 years of service had recently passed, and their dependents would have been left to come up with the COBRA health insurance premium 100% out of their own pockets. We had that employee who was gap insurance eligible. The city's budget was already scheduled to pay 85% of their premium until Medicare age as part of their retiree post-employment health benefit. Mayor Frazier had asked me to work with Connie to put together a draft policy for the Personnel and Finance Committee to review for consideration. That policy is before you tonight, recommended from the Personnel and Finance Committee, that says that any employee who is currently gap eligible and retires with 30 or more years of service and their surviving dependents would be eligible for COBRA insurance through the city's plan. The city would pay 50% of that premium for the 36th month that they're eligible, unless or until those dependents become eligible for participation in another plan. And the city's Personnel and Finance Committee unanimously recommended that to the City Council for approval tonight.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4B, discussion and possible action regarding Veterans Park monument improvements.
I'm going to have Director Robinson speak about this, if you would, please.
At the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting, probably it's been started for a couple of months. Wendell Sisson had done some research for the city on past veterans that had been killed in action and were from the city or had city ties anyways to the city of MIlton. And it was brought up that we have the monument up at Veterans Park, but to possibly expand that and have their names on monuments up there of those veterans. And the Parks and Recreation Committee did get a as you saw in your packet, a design from Jerry and Eric Peckman from Peckman Memorials of what something might look like up there for the monuments. In order for this to progress, for the Park and Recreation Committee to start doing some more work on this, they thought they would do this as a donation type of a memorial where they'd go out and work to get donations or use park fund money, so there wouldn't be, the general taxes wouldn't be used for this project. The overall cost would probably be between $30,000 and $35,000, and it would honor, everyone in each individual wars that people knew of, from the city of Milton. And as you saw in the packet, there would be the monuments, some brickwork, plantings, benches, and also during the work, they're not planning on disturbing the work that's already been done up there by the Eagle Scouts or by the other veterans groups that have already put the flags up and other things. And this design ties all of that together. And they've done work, in other communities, and they're here if you have some questions about them, about the, not about them, about the monument. But, so that's what they were asking the city council, if it would be all right to start with this design and go out to different groups and start to receive donations. And Connie had explained the donation process to the commission last night. It's similar to the dog park where a lot of that work was done through donations. We would have to do some bidding work because we'd actually pay somebody to do, part of the work, so we probably would. But, and they do the work, Peckman Memorials do the work, but if we'd have to ask them if we could use their design, but it would have to be a better than their design, or that, or match that as far as, better type of a thing than what they have already. So I guess that was the question for the city council. If you have any more questions about this, or if it's all right to start getting donations and proceed with this up at Veterans Park. It's probably going to take, all summer, maybe not even until next year to get donations and stuff for this. But it was kind of to get some information out before Memorial Day, because there's the silent parade starts up there, and just to have some of the information going on for this.
We have a couple representatives here from a company who does work all over the state on these memorials. I would like them to address, fundraising efforts in other communities. Would you guys want to come up and just talk about some of the other efforts that were made in other communities, and communities smaller than this where they've built? So come up to the podium and introduce yourself, and tell them some of the work you've done and some of the fundraising efforts that you've helped lead.
Sure. My name's Eric Peckman of Peckman Memorials. First of all, thanks for letting us be here. We're honored to even be here talking about this project. We've got a pretty unique history regarding our family history with the veterans, and we try and go out of our way to make sure that they're honored and remembered. And if I could, I actually have an updated packet with preliminary pricing information and everything. If I could give everybody a copy of that, would that be okay?
From sitting there and drinking. It's a good thing we
Nancy brought up a question to me about the work that's already done. She noticed how that was shifting. You want to explain to her what the things that we talked about?
Yeah. Yeah, so as part of the proposal that we have there, personally, as an Eagle Scout, I wouldn't want my project disturbed. So our intent is to leave the project as it was completed as much as possible. However, there are some concerns with some of the settling issues with the current patio. So as part of this project, my professional recommendation would be to you know, perhaps once the cement is poured around the existing patio, would be to remove those bricks, basically put in new fill and relay the patio. You know, just from a safety standpoint and a longevity standpoint.
It looks tacky, but I have seen that jacking does a good job. I didn't know if it was appropriate to jack or to replace.
You know, I think that we can still utilize the patio for the most part the way that it is. I think the big issue is, you know, is with any of these patios is the base underneath it.
Okay.
So when that shifts, then the patio on top obviously will shift.
The weather hit it and it got, okay, thank you.
Yeah, and so, you know, with a little bit of extra tamping and proper fill, I think that, you know, most of those
Just that one
issues should be.
sheet that is heaved. Okay.
Yeah,
One of the things we discussed at Park and Rec was that any work that's been done by Eagle Scouts or anybody there, we didn't want to disturb. And we want to let them know before we do anything that this is coming about and that we don't, you know, and what our plans are. And invite them to come to talk about it before any work is ever done, because we don't want to get anybody upset with what's currently done. But the way the patio looks now in that project, it doesn't look very well. It really wouldn't benefit from redoing it and making it much better structure. That's the discussion we had at our Park and Rec.
and if you want me to, I can go through the documents for just a second. So obviously on top is kind of a slightly modified proposal. I have to apologize, the one you received in your packet was about a week old. This is our busiest time of the year, so we got our new proposal drafted up yesterday, which you see the main difference is 4 benches instead of 2. That's, you know, and that is kind of, at this point, still up for discussion as to the number of benches, the placement of the benches, things like that.
The changes came, the reason they redrafted is from our discussion at our committee meeting. And this is what Inga took notes and sent you the notes, right?
That's correct.
This is the changes that resulted from what our committee recommended. Comes from our committee, and they've just redone the same things that we discussed.
Correct. So the second page in the document is kind of the particulars, the details of the granite itself, the main structure of the monument itself. So it's basically just got sizes, dimensions, things like that, so that you know what we're talking about as far as real sizes.
And on these monuments would be the names of all the people who died in all of our different wars. That's the research, because Wendell Sisson approached me over the winter about this project, and if I could get something going in Parks and Rec. So this is how it got started. And he's done all the research on all these people. He's even went back to Europe and got information about these people, where they died and everything else. And so the idea when we build this is to take and do an oral history with the MIlton House as well, so that the names can be, all the names that Wendell's going to do an audio about how all of them died, and that can be put in there, so there can be names and associated with records of everything that happened for families if they wanted to be interested in doing this.
I'm curious how they will handle those compatriots of my husband who are dying currently of Agent Orange. I'm just curious as to how that will be addressed, because
Right.
that was Agent Orange.
But these are the ones.
That's a different question, though.
Yeah, that's a different question. The ones that are going to be put in here, all those were killed in action.
That was action.
Well, directly killed in action. I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's another discussion.
That's a different story.
That's a different discussion. Okay.
So the following page is just a sample brick pattern, actually. So there would be obviously 2 patios that look identical to what's pictured there. The ratios of the bricks in these patios are typically what we see sell in projects like this. So you typically have, you know, 2/3 or 1/3 of the small size, about half of the middle size, and you know, the other remaining percentage as the largest size. And the other really nice part about using the product that we would ultimately end up recommending is they swap out interchangeably in case, you know, certain sizes sell better than others. But this is just for your records, you know, what we've established. The following 2 pages are 2 pro forma models. One of them, you'll notice in the top left, says MIlton Veterans Financial Summary. This is something I do for every project, and it's more or less a real-time snapshot of how the project is proceeding financially. Currently, I'm working on one of these for the Delton Fire Department up in Lake Delton, because they wanted to see, based on the pavers they've sold, the other donations they've received, where they are as far as paying for the monument. So you'll see the top portion is the revenue generated by the different bricks of the different sizes at different price points. The price point, obviously, at this point, totally up for discussion. But at this point, we don't have any sales, so that's why you see the revenue at 0. The material cost is the cost of the bricks themselves. The estimated installation cost of about $1,000 is pretty typical for, you know, basically a patio of this size, or 2 patios of the sizes that they are. You know, so, you know, you're going to end up with about $4,700 to add the patio to the existing project. And then the next portion is the brick engraving cost. So when you actually do sell one, you know, we properly deduct that from whatever donations were received. And then the next portion is the actual monument itself. The 3 granite pillars at the back with their respective bases. And the price for the monument includes whatever engraving, you know, whatever the lettering, you know, winds up being, you know, between what Wendell Sisson determines and whatever other input is desired. And we show, you know, we go through hundreds of drawings on paper, you know, getting spellings of names correct and things of that nature for obvious reasons. Again, we have a pretty unique history. My grandfather was actually a German soldier, captured in Italy during World War II, and came to the United States as a prisoner of war. Spent time in Virginia, Illinois, Michigan, and most of all, Wisconsin. Traveled around through all the POW camps in Wisconsin, working on farms, canning factories. And following the war, you know, to long story short, came back following the war after he returned to Germany, and got back into stone cutting and wanted to repay the American veterans for his treatment. He came over here about 125 pounds, left 190. So he was very grateful to the treatment he received and, you know, the life that all of that was able to afford him. And so because of that, we always make a donation to projects of this nature. You know, typically they range from 25 to about 30%. And so that's why that's there. So, you know, we appreciate the work, but more than that, we appreciate the opportunity to honor the individuals that this is designed to honor. So
as the wars continue, how do you add names?
Well, that's that, and a bigger question is, yeah, how do you add additional conflicts, things like that. That's always an ongoing debate. Every project handles that differently, and I think that is another aspect of the more detailed design that needs to be considered. I think that not only who do you include, but what information do you include? Do you include their rank, their branch of service, the conflict they served in? And frankly, with other projects, we've run into conflicting information. You know, so a lot of those issues, I would say, still have to be resolved. But you know, the simplest answer is we leave space and hope we don't have to add any.
So,
but we would come out on site.
So my question is really, are you completing these stones as of 2015, you know, with all the names being obtained, or do you leave room for?
We would theoretically leave room at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I don't know what the count is that Wendell's got currently. I would guess it's probably, 40 to 50 names.
If we go forward with the project, we're waiting for council approval, then we have to decide how we're gonna structure the monument,
Right.
Do you leave one monument blank for future boards? We haven't reached that part yet because it didn't seem proper to go that far
Yeah, but it
until
goes
we
before
see
the
what
court.
the council says, yeah.
So, yeah, with that said, I think that the size of the stones and the nature of how these things will typically lay out, I don't see any reason why we couldn't leave plenty of space, for several decades of conflicts.
Let's hope that we don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, and the final page is just a sample pro forma model of selling 25% of the pavers that would be in the patio total. So typically, these projects are self-sufficient in their fundraising capacity. Because of the size of the patio with this particular design, it's not quite there. If you sell 100% of these pavers, which in total quantity is not impossible to do, we're working with Monticello right now, which is a pretty small community, and they've sold, I think, a total of a little over 130 pavers in 1 year. So I don't think that these grand totals of about 200 are unrealistic to sell completely. And with a total projected cost of the granite, the pavers, and any subsequent engraving, I do want to stress that we have not been contracted or anything to do the cement work or the excavation work or the landscaping. So when you heard of the figure of $30,000 to $35,000, I would anticipate that would include those items. However, those items are not typically provided by us. Most municipalities have resources to do it significantly cheaper than we would provide. So, but that's the total cost of the monument at $24,476 at this point. And a little over $3,000 coming from 25% of the pavers. So at this point, the project itself would be a little over 50% self-funded. And so items like the benches come into play significantly with projects like this. The Monticello Area Veterans Group typically gets between $2,500 and $5,000 for a bench that then they can honor a family member with or whatever. It's pretty limited text. We typically don't allow companies and things like that to be on there. But with the price of the benches at around $1,500, there's some room to make some pretty significant money on top of the cost in order to fully fund the project. So,
Can I ask you a question?
absolutely.
When you say monument costs $26,000, so you're saying that includes the benches, the actual?
Not at this point, does not include the benches.
So what is the $26,000?
That would be the 3 black granite pillars at the back of the monument with their respective bases, and then the brick patio, the installation of the brick patio, and yes, I believe that's all.
Any of the engraving?
Yes, on the monument itself, we basically include the engraving on everything.
But not the bricks?
Correct, correct, because those typically would be paid for when they're sold.
Okay, there would be additional costs for the benches, the landscaping, the cement work?
Correct, correct, which, again, I would think would bring the project total to between $30,000 and $35,000.
Okay, any other questions?
Anything from?
I just wanted to let you know that, like Nancy, you have a lot of suggestions there. talk to the Park and Rec or come to the meetings and, give us your ideas, because this is all in the beginning stages. We just need your approval to do the fundraising, and it's something that the committee is excited about. We've purchased playground equipment that is better in colors and stuff like that. We're really just trying to get the park all set up nicely.
And who will be the receiver of funds, Wendell Sisson or the Parks and Rec, or who is spearheading the collecting of names, or, the reason for the memorial?
Those are those are things that we still have to work out.
Okay, I
As
was
far
trying
as
to
the funds
understand.
go, everything would have to go into the city in a special fund, and then we would take care of it from there. But the committee still has, those details we still have to work out. But we want to hear your ideas.
We thought it would be good if we get approval, like the 4th of July, we could be selling bricks, different events. And, this might be a project that might take 3 years. But I mean, it's something that we think would be a good thing. And, go ahead, Maxine.
Where is the memorial, that was, what do you call it, that was put in?
Time
for 100
capsule.
years? The what?
Time capsule.
Time capsule. I don't see that
That's,
in the picture at all
Off
here.
the picture.
that was gonna remain where it's at. That's on the corner of,
That's not-
of High and Hilltop, but
Here.
that's gonna be that was gonna stay separate over on that side.
Okay. Yes. So the action would be to approve the proposed design and allow donation fundraising to.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Good project. On to general items. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, June 4th, 2013. On to mayor and alderperson reports. I don't have anything.
Got a couple items I'd like to see in further agendas. One, I'd like to see on the next agenda, that's the odor complaints from United Ethanol. Their complaint today, if you read it, they acknowledge, it's one of those rare ones where they acknowledge the odor, but everything's working fine. So what they're telling us is, what you see is what you get, and that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable to me, it's unacceptable to those people that live out there. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see them here, even though they haven't got much integrity as far as living up to what they say they're gonna do.
Okay.
Second item, given what we've been watching for the last 2 days down in Oklahoma, I think it'd be a good idea if in council here, we reviewed our emergency action plan so that everybody's familiar with it. I know I haven't read through it. I think it'd be a good idea to go through that.
Good. Any other alderpersons reports?
I just want to, go ahead, if you got something.
It's my understanding that the fire department is going to have a fundraiser this Sunday at the Junction Pub, and they are fundraising for some equipment that they need. So I guess if you're around this Sunday, I would encourage you to support our fire department.
Yeah, I want to say too that they had their open house and they really had a good crowd.
It was very
And they were
interesting.
able to use the machine that they want to buy, to have. They were able to,
Demonstrate, yes.
they demonstrated, but then they had to put it to use a little later, but
It was a very nice turnout. I was
they
really
did have a
pleased.
good
It was
turnout.
interesting to see the helicopter come down and find out there's only 3 people in room for one
Yeah.
person to be treated.
Okay.
I want to remind everybody of our park dedication on June 1st at 11:30. The council's all invited to come. We're going to dedicate the park first, and then we're going to do a memorial for Jack Galoon afterwards. this weekend. We're going to be building the dugouts, I believe, Howie? You've talked to Eric, right?
Yep.
So if anybody wants to come Saturday,
Park,
Lamar Park.
Lamar Park,
Lamar
thank you.
Park, and everybody wants to come help build dugouts Saturday morning, you're welcome. We'll be building 3. And hopefully get it ready, and have it ready for the memorial.
All right, all right.
So I got, we're gonna have a get-together at the Junction Pub afterwards. It would be nice if some council members came. A lot of the old, Teresa, all the old school personnel are invited, and I hope
And I could build a dugout.
you don't have to build a dugout, but you should come to the dedication, because there'll be a lot of,
We
Yeah.
can take pictures.
a lot of people a little older than us, so we'll be the younger ones there.
What time's the dedication?
11:30.
June 1st. But are you talking about that you want us to come and build the dugout and go to the junction afterwards?
No, the dugouts are built
We'll
this
wait at the
Saturday.
Junction Pub. like-
Saturday's the dedication.
I want you to come this Saturday.
I would rather, if I had my choice with your work habits, you probably should come to the Junction Pub after the memorial. We don't want you building dugouts.
Best work done at the pub.
I will not reflect that in the minutes.
So we have 2 Saturdays in a row of
The
the events
recording
going on.
after.
You could help with, but I do have food ordered for after the dedication, and everybody's invited. I have the Junction Pub from 12 until 3, so we can hang out there. And there'll be food for everybody, so.
Good, any other alderperson reports? All right, staff reports, city administrator.
Everything I have is in closed session tonight.
Public Works.
We're gonna do a special brush pickup from the couple of windstorms, and Splash Park, they've got concrete poured. If you go down there, that's the basic, how big it's gonna be, you can see. It's not finished, and we're working on the playground up there. Hopefully by Memorial Day, it'll be on, ready to go, so.
So how long are you gonna pick up brush? How many weeks?
Oh, we're gonna go through the entire town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
When does
just,
that start, Howie?
well, it probably, if we had time, it would be the end of this week, but probably the start of next week.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just start on one end of town and do the whole thing,
So you
so.
start
So if somebody gets something out on the weekend, that's fine, but it'll
have a
probably
brush
be,
pile I need to
probably be Tuesday that we'll probably start
Yes,
with brush.
start
and
hauling,
We'll go through the whole town, so.
Great. Put that in the courier, please.
please.
All right, police department.
National Night Out for Rock County is August 6th, 5 to 9 p.m. at Preservation Park in Beloit. And so that's where the big shindig for National Night Out is this year. Won't be at Shilberg. And July 5th at 7 p.m. is the annual Guns and Hoses Police versus Firemen softball game. And obviously we'll be trying to raise money for charitable causes. And I think,
Did they pick a cause?
I have a cause. I don't have to tell you right now, though.
okay, good.
I'm a little worried, Chief, that I won't be able to umpire this year, so I'm gonna defer my job to the mayor this year.
Okay, that's fine. There's the parade too.
It'd be a good experience for him to get among
Can't
the.
play.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
There's also that silent parade for Memorial Day. It's on the website. I don't remember the exact time.
It's, thank you, Howie. It's Monday, 9 o'clock. It starts up by the high school and goes to the cemetery. So it starts,
At our Veterans Park.
It starts at Veterans Park, yeah.
Good, is that it for PD?
Yes.
All right. Joint fire, nothing. City clerk, couldn't make it. City treasurer? All right, now we're cooking along. All right.
Consideration of a motion to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.85 deliberating or negotiating the purchases of public property, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Reference to land purchase, potential sale of 340 East Madison Avenue, Public Work Department and Police Department union contract, negotiations, non-representative employees compensation, and employee health care plan design options.
Motion and a second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries on unanimous support of the council. We'll take